What is going on, guys? Jesse here, and today we're talking about the Bang & Olufsen Beoplay EQ wireless noise canceling earbuds. And I'm definitely a little bit late to the review on these guys. They came out a couple of months ago at this point, but hey, better late than never, right? And these guys are pretty special because they're some of the most expensive earbuds to come through the studio. And if you guys didn't know, Bang & Olufsen are known for not being the most value-oriented brand out there, but they are known for delivering quality for that price that you pay. So let's see if these earbuds hold up to their reputation. So as usual, let's start this off by talking about the case, because I said this before, but I feel like the case is just as important as the buds themselves and the whole experience of using this as a product, because part of the point you get earbuds in the first place is because they're portable, and this is how you carry them around. So this case from Bang & Olufsen is really nice. Like, we've got an entire outer shell made of anodized aluminum that feels really nice, like cold to the touch and everything. And on the bottom, we've got this sort of rubberized material that I think design-wise, I kind of wish wasn't there, just because it makes an otherwise very nice, beautiful looking case a little bit less pretty. But it does allow for this to have wireless charging in addition to the USB-C on the back. And while we're on the subject, the battery life on these are pretty great. We've got 6.5 hours in the buds themselves with about 2 more charges in the case, and a full charge will take about 90 minutes, while 20 minutes will get you about 2 hours of playtime. The one thing that does worry me about the case though is that even though the aluminum does feel really nice and premium, I am concerned about it just getting scratched over time, because that's just what aluminum does. Now, nothing has actually showed up on here yet, which is good, but I haven't had them for all that long yet, and only time will tell whether or not that'll actually be an issue. These premium materials do allow for this to have a really nice, satisfying snap every time you close it, which, if you've watched any of my other earbud reviews in the past, you know that that's pretty important to me because I'm a fidgeter, and this, it's pretty good. Like, I give this an 8 out of 10. Now, last thing about the case before we get into the buds themselves is gonna be size and portability, because at least for me, especially with earbuds, the size of the case is a pretty big deal, because the whole reason you get them is to be able to stash them in your pocket and take them with you anywhere you go. And these guys are pretty compact. I mean, honestly, they're not the smallest, but I still would say that they are comfortably pocketable. So I've got a pair of AirPods Pro here just as a size comparison, and you might hear me reference the AirPods Pro a couple of times in this review, and I'm not necessarily trying to compare these two head to head, just because I don't think they're really competing with each other. Just one, the price, and I think they're going for two very different crowds, and we'll get to that in a second. But I think the AirPods Pro, this is just something that I think most people will have some sort of exposure to, so it's a good frame of reference for me to compare it to. So yeah, compared to the AirPods Pro case, it's a little bit bigger in most aspects. It's a little bit thicker, a little bit longer, but a little bit less wide. Now, opening up the case and looking at the earbuds themselves, the first impression that I get when I take these out is that they're pretty big earbuds. They're basically just really big cylinders with spouts on the end for the ear tips. But they definitely do look and feel very premium. Now, if you're looking for that kind of like flex factor, I guess, and you want people to know that you just dropped $400 on a pair of earbuds, I don't know that these are necessarily gonna do that, because I think the average person is just gonna see these and be like, those aren't AirPods. In terms of fit and comfort though, I would say that they're just average. Like, even though they're shaped pretty well, and when you first put them in your ears, you'll probably find them to be a pretty pleasant earbud to wear, but over time, there's just no really getting around how big these things are. Like, they just displace a lot of volume inside of your ears, and they're just gonna end up pushing up against all the cartilage that's in that area, and over time that causes some discomfort. For me personally, I can't really keep these in for over around an hour before I start to feel some serious discomfort and just want to take them out. And I think the other part of that is the weight. They're pretty heavy for a pair of earbuds, and even if they don't fall out of your ears, you're gonna kind of feel the mass shifting around in your ears every time you turn your head or walk or anything like that. The fit wasn't the best for me either. I took these to the gym with me, and especially when I got sweaty, these things just felt like they were itching to get out of my ears and just fly away. And I tried all the ear tips that it came with, but nothing really seemed to help with it all that much. Now, they do come with the Comply foam ear tips, which should help with the fit and comfort if you're into that. I'm personally not a big fan of the way that they feel in my ears, so I just didn't really like them, but the option is available. So for me, in my ear shape, they're probably not going to be the best choice for a gym/workout headphone, but they are IP54 rated, so if you can get the fit figured out, then these might not be the worst choice. Now, moving on to the features of the buds, I would say that these have all the essentials that you would need, but nothing that's really revolutionary or new. So first up, we've got touch controls. So on each of the earbuds, these kind of plates that are on each of them are touch controls, which I'm not personally the biggest fan of touch controls on earbuds, just because when most of the exposed surface area of the earbud is the touch surface, it's really easy to accidentally touch. But you get all the normal stuff like play, pause, skip, reverse, but you also get volume up and down, which I think is pretty unique, and most earbuds don't have that. Now, the way that they were able to do that though was to have the left and right earbuds each do different things, which allows you to have more combinations of different controls to have, but it also does make it a little bit confusing, and the learning curve of memorizing what all the controls are is a little bit harder, but if you actually own these and use these for a while, I'm sure it's not going to be a problem. These also have active noise cancellation, which is nice, but it's really not the best. Like, it's just really weak and doesn't block out that much noise. To the point that sometimes when I'm wearing these, I actually can't tell if it's on or not, and I have to sort of cycle through the different modes to make sure that it's actually on. It definitely does work, but it's just not really competitive with everything else that's on the market right now. And a lot of earbuds that are even like half of this price do a better job in the active noise cancellation realm. And last up for features, of course, because it's 2022, these also have an app. Now, the app is pretty bare bones, but it does offer pretty much everything that you would really need out of an earbud app. Like, you can see the battery percentage on each of the earbuds, as well as the case, do software updates, which I need to do, and also skip, reverse your track, play, pause, volume up and down, that sort of thing. And it even has an EQ, and we'll get into that when we talk about the sound. But the only thing I think that's really missing in this is to be able to toggle between the active noise cancellation, transparency mode, and just having that totally off. So last thing before we talk about the sound quality on here, I'll do a quick mic test so you guys can hear what they sound like in calls. Okay, so the audio you're hearing now should be coming from the Beoplay EQ's mics, and yeah, this is what they sound like. Of course, on their website, they talk a lot about how good these mics sound, and now you'll know for yourself. And now finally, let's talk about the sound quality. And guys, like, these sound really, really good. Like, probably the best sounding earbuds that I've tried so far. And honestly, at this price they should, but you know, they live up to it. You get that rich, deep, full sounding bass that I think a lot of people are going to enjoy, and gives music or whatever you're listening to that impact that you might be looking for. And the great thing about these is that while they do have that really nice bass, they don't sacrifice the mid-range to achieve that, and it still stays very crisp and clean in that range. So vocals and that sort of thing sound really good on here as well. If I had to give one critique about the sound signature on these, is that the high end is pretty harsh. Like, especially at the higher volumes, I found these to be pretty fatiguing to listen to in the high end, but I think other than that, the sound quality is really good. I tried messing around with the EQ a little bit, and honestly, I couldn't really get it to work. And also, while we're on the subject of the EQ, I am not a big fan of the way that B&O is doing it. Like, you get this sort of circular thing where, you know, on one end you got bright, the other end warm, and then on the east-west axis, I guess, you got relaxed and energetic. And to me, it just doesn't really make sense why they did this instead of just having like the classic 3 sliders, one for mids, lows, and highs. I think that would have been a lot more useful, but this, I mean, I think if you figure it out, you can get what you want. It's just needlessly confusing. Now, my other issue with the sound, and not really necessarily sound quality, is the volume. They just don't get very loud. And just as a comparison again, compared to the AirPods Pro, these at max volume are probably the AirPods Pro at 75% volume. And to me, that's just not loud enough. And I know it's probably not the best for my ears to listen to my music that loud, but I want to make that decision, not the earbuds. Now, at the end of the day though, should you get these earbuds? And honestly, I think at $400, it's a little bit of a tough sell. For me, it's the average fit, comfort, and active noise cancellation that make it a no-go for me. But I think if you really care about sound quality and that's all you care about, you know, these are probably gonna do it for you. So yeah, that's my review of the Bang & Olufsen Beoplay EQ. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Like if you liked it, sub if you loved it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.